Hello, my name is Leslie Spear, and this is my presentation over Module 1, my introduction and critical analysis and reflection on equity, inclusiveness, and cultural responsiveness. A little bit about myself. I currently live in Holton, Kansas, which is a small town north of Topeka, but I grew up in Dighton, Kansas, which is a small farming community in western Kansas. There, my dad is a farmer, and my mom is a teacher. And I grew up with my 5 siblings who are pictured here. Right next to me is my twin brother Benjamin, and he is an engineer in Wichita Falls, Texas. Right next to him is my younger sister Jordan, and she is getting her master's degree in kinesiology through the University of Southern Mississippi. And right next to me is my older sister Hannah, and she is getting her doctorate at the University of Nebraska in animal nutrition. And then clear on the left is Lonnie, and clear on the right is Carly, and they are both freshmen, or going to be freshmen. And they are also twins, so 2 sets of twins. These are pictures of my fiance and I. We just got engaged in August, and we are also high school sweethearts, so that included a picture on the right of us when we were in high school. Things I like to do outside of teaching are coaching, and I also like to stay active. So on the left is a picture of me with my younger sisters at an AAU basketball tournament when I coached them last summer, and I'm also coaching again this summer. And on the right is a picture of me and my friend at a boxing class that we just recently joined. I teach 2nd grade at Holton Elementary here in Holton. And these are a couple pictures of my team members. So on the left, we're wearing t-shirts that say teaching 2nd grade on Tuesday, 2/22/22. That was a pretty cool day to document. And on the right, we had a baby shower for my team member that's not on the right, because she had just had her baby, and we got to celebrate her at school with a baby shower. Other things I like to do, I love to bake. Love to bake for people who make baked goods, and also I coach middle school volleyball, so I enjoy all the sports. This is my critical analysis piece to the assignment. So starting with a positive school culture, the importance of having a positive school culture would be students want to come to school when there's this positive school culture, and you want your students to want to be at school. They're also more likely to do well academically if they're surrounded with that positive support and leadership. Both instruction and culture contribute to the success of students. How is positive culture created and maintained? Well, it takes a lot of people to make that happen. Teachers and staff, that happens through professional development, because if they are trained properly, they can better reach their kids. Parents, they need to have a connection with the school through surveys, meetings, engagement nights, so that they are connected to their student learning. Students, their social and emotional needs need to be addressed and met. Having a whole school social emotional skill can really unify the building. In the classroom, building relationships is huge. You must have high expectations for your students, but those expectations must be supported with love and nurturing actions. Check in on students regularly. You can start with an SEL assessment to get a better feel for your students at the beginning of the year, and check on them regularly throughout the year. Let students have a choice. They have a choice. They're taking control of their own learning. And clearly communicate with parents regarding their student. That communication is key, involving them in their child's education. A positive school culture continued. School leaders' role. So consistency, again, is key. Systems must be in place and practiced to solidify the vision of a positive school culture. Expectations must be clear, and that those expectations, there needs to be positive intent and continuous feedback. Rules, schedules, and responsibilities need to be explicitly written and reviewed. So if they don't know the rules, how are they supposed to follow them? It's important to notice the positive again. Assume there is positive intent. So have a face-to-face conversation to find this out. Emails and notes and stuff don't usually relay that very well. Also, if there isn't positive intent, that needs to be addressed in person as well. Build relationships with your staff. That's huge. Empower teacher leadership. Create teams. Give them surveys so they have a say in PD days or whatnot through a survey. Inclusive, supportive school culture. So there needs to be a welcoming environment, and this starts at the district level and in each and every school and all the way down to the classroom level. Collaboration needs to happen between administration and staff, between staff and other staff members, and between staff and students, and then students and other students. Staff and students must have respect for one another. The community must be involved. Systems must be responsive to the diverse needs of students. Every student is unique, and so we need to do our best to fit their needs. Mission statements are important to outlining school culture and expectations. Language is a key piece to creating inclusive school culture. So language needs to be free of bias or offensive language, and that would include written or spoken word. Activities must be created to include staff, students, and the community. Give students a leadership role to again give them a sense of ownership, and celebrate all of the positives. Inclusive supportive school culture continued. So this doesn't just include people from different nationalities. It also has to do with disabilities. Students with disabilities, it's proven they learn more when they are in the classroom, not just academically, but socially because they are around their peers. Teachers are trained to differentiate in the classroom. So it's great to have them in the classroom because teachers are trained for that. With grouping, they're familiar with the curricular content, and they use different ways to assess students based on their needs, whether that's visual or oral or even task-based. And I really like this visual over here because it not only talks about like the teacher side of it, talks about parents and different strategies that could be used to create an inclusive environment. Equitable school culture. Expectations and values. So everyone has to be on board because it's impossible to manage everyone's actions. So if the principal has set some expectations, he expects his teachers to go by those expectations and to carry those out. Have a system for meeting with people with procedures and guidelines. So decide what's appropriate. Designated speaking times, procedures for beginning and ending. Language use needs to be uniform and understood by students and staff, so words and phrases might need to be defined, and that common language needs to be used across the board. Norms established should include the freedom of thought and expression, and the importance of listening as well as being heard in a safe environment. Hiring a diverse staff, so if teachers have a diverse background, more students are able to relate. The environment should be safe for both the adults and students. They should be able to take risks, stretch, and learn in an authentic setting. Administration, teachers, support staff, and students must have a growth mindset when implementing change that positively impacts students' learning and success. Responsive school culture. This starts at a couple different levels with the curriculum and instruction. So extensive research should be done before choosing a curriculum. It should value differences in cultures. Students should have opportunities to express their unique differences. Teachers should be involved in the decision and have the opportunity to vote. School climate. Students should feel safe and included. Social and emotional well-being should be prioritized. PBIS interventions should be implemented so that they are focusing on the positive and then teaching behaviors that might need to be redirected. So hiring diverse staff again. So hiring staff from different cultural backgrounds. Students want to relate to staff and do better when they have that connection. This is my critical reflection on the research. So in my school, to create a positive culture, we have greetings at the door. This is not just only in the classroom. This is at the door when they come in from the bus, from paras, and maybe the principals out there. We have a social skill of the week. Our SEL curriculum is second step, and so the whole school goes by our skill for the week. Student of the week and the staff of the week, certified and classified. So a student and staff member that are really exemplifying the social skill, give them student or staff of the week. Weekly newsletters from our principals. Expectations are listed in all parts of the buildings: hallway, playground, cafeteria, and bathrooms. So this is not only written, but there's pictures next to each area. We have parent involvement through surveys. They can attend field trips, communication from the teachers. So we have conduct cards. And if they fill up the positive side or the negative side, call home to mom. Or if it gets to a couple on each side, call home. Staff support. We have professional development days once a month. We complete surveys after these PD days to evaluate them. Meetings with interventionalists once a month, and the 2:30 to 3 time at the end of the day is designated for our GEI team. In the classroom, we again have conduct cards, which can also, they show positive and negative. And we also have goal setting, and goal setting should drive your, and data should drive your goal setting. We also have choices and projects. Inclusive support, school culture. So we have a very high ELL population, so we find ways to educate and celebrate those differences. Our special education teachers and administration prioritize push-in time with our students with IEPs. Teachers often find creative ways to differentiate work and keep students engaged. Teachers, we have a shared plan time so we can collaborate, and staff and BLT meetings once a month, which BLT, Building Leadership Team, once a month. School families. So every class is paired with another class, and we meet once a week to do an activity. So a 5th grade class could be paired with first grade class, and they get together every Friday to do an activity and create that relationship. Parent and community involvement. We have universal communication platform, which is Remind, and we can send out messages through that go directly to parent phones. A day for grandparents, moms, and dads that they come into the school and we do activities. We have guest presentations. Communication with ELL parents is prioritized in the language that they speak. Equitable school culture. So in our school, our values are outlined in our district mission statement, which is posted over here on the left. Administration trusts their staff will conduct themselves in a way that represents the school values and expectations. School board meetings and GEIT meetings have norms set in place that those involved feel safe and included. Teachers follow an SEL curriculum that covers students' respect, diversity, and inclusion. And our school is committed to maintaining an equitable school culture by encouraging teachers to get their ESOL endorsement. And the district pays for this if you earn a passing grade. And our social worker is also around where she can provide resources with families that maybe we don't know about. Responsive school culture. So our administration and teachers seriously evaluate a curriculum to make sure bias isn't present. Teachers research, observe, and vote on a curriculum. New math curriculum allows for students to do more discovery learning and collaborative learning. We just adopted that. Conduct cards, so again, show positive and negative, and recent staff has been hired that speak Spanish to relate to meet our ELL students' needs. And after researching, I believe our school needs to expand our diversity. We don't have a huge diversity presence among staffs, and our lack of male teachers is a disadvantage. Concluding statements. Here's how my research related to the standards. So on the first one, my research and reflection, I have seen the importance of using data to be culturally responsive in the classroom, in the school, and at the district level. This is important in what we teach through curriculum and in the use of surveys and collaboration to create a place that is safe and inclusive. Second one, students need the opportunity to express themselves through authentic activities and projects. They need to take ownership of their learning, and it is our responsibility to equip them with the tools and resources to do this. Students also need to be culturally aware of their peers, and it is the responsibility of teachers and staff to foster positive relationships among students. And on the third one, teachers and staff need to be well prepared through professional development and collaboration to be prepared to support and educate students with various needs and abilities. A few examples would be curriculum evaluation, use of learning technologies, and social and emotional education. How is this relevant? Well, this assignment has been relevant to my current teaching and learning because I've experienced both positive and negative school cultures. The research helped me clarify specific areas in my school that were keeping the culture positive.